What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Second Avenue Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Linares.
I'm your other host, Elijah Venencio. Welcome back, everybody. Just to piggyback off last episode, Super Bowl picks. The Chiefs got it done for me. CMC ringless still, unfortunately, but as a result, I wanted to see great game. I mean, we haven't really talked about it much, but man, like two straight phenomenal Super Bowls. Obviously, last year was very heartbreaking for me, being an Eagles fan, but I'd rather see Patty win another than Brock Purdy get a ring. So
That's crazy. I don't know, man. I wanted Christian McCaffrey to get one. I thought it was an okay game. The ending felt so anticlimactic though at the same time. Like you knew what was going to happen. Like when Patrick Mahomes had the ball second, you knew
yeah,
they were winning the game, but
yeah,
it was just like I don't know. I wanted a little bit more. I saw somebody say it was a casual football fan's like least
which
favorite game.
yeah,
And I
you're
was
just not
like,
a ball
okay,
miller.
I'm a casual then, yeah, because it was just whatever to me. I wasn't like, oh, this is the best game. It was all right.
Yeah, I mean lower scoring game, of course. So I could understand why there, but man, that shit had me sweating. Had some bets in. Obviously one on Chiefs money line, but man, what a game! We had like 13 people watching at Ben's house. So it was good time there. Everybody was on the Chiefs, so I mean, just electric environment. Maybe that contributed to it being such a great game for me.
Yeah, I wish I would have got the invite, but it is what it is. Um, Man, the Super Bowl is the one time a year that I bet. I really don't bet like that, but I always just throw together like $10 random like parlays for the Super Bowl. And this year, I did one bet that it felt so obvious. I only put $1 on it, but it was a triple crown. So it was Patrick Mahomes to have the most passing yards, Kelsey to have the most receiving yards, and McCaffrey to have the most rushing yards in the game. I put $1 to win $7.80. I was like, why didn't I put $10 on this? Like
Uh,
that seemed like free money. I don't know, but
did it win?
it won. Yeah,
Oh wow! I would have thought Kelsey didn't have the most yards
yeah.
there,
I didn't
but
think he did, but then I got the pay. All right,
all right, yeah. I mean, next time throw 100 on it. Fuck it, it's free
I'm
cash.
saying,
So,
yeah.
I mean, you like you said, you're not much of a better, not much of a sports better, I guess. But man, you're about to sharp. I'm gonna need your plays next Super Bowl. Last year you
Yeah,
hit the octopus with
yeah.
octopus with Jalen Hurts. This year that. So I mean, you're about as sharp as they come when it comes time. So
Yeah, I find those really niche bets and I hit them. The one thing I haven't hit, both years I've been betting, I have not hit the Gatorade color. And I've put like three different colors both years. This year, I didn't even see him dump the Gatorade for forever. And then they finally dumped it. It was purple. And I was like,
yeah.
purple, what are we doing? I always go team color. I feel like for the picture, I would want it to be red. And both teams were red. So I thought that was a lock. I think orange is my other color.
Yeah,
Just I randomly thought orange.
yeah, you know which color I'm rocking with.
Yeah.
It's I don't bet it, of course. I try to do like ticky tack stuff, but yeah, I'm rocking with orange every time. Anytime somebody asks me, it's always orange. So
Oh yeah. But yeah, man, from one sport to the next, Super Bowl Sunday, NFL season over, NBA season in the middle of the season, All-Star weekend this weekend in Indianapolis. We're making an appearance. We're popping out.
catch us courtside.
Catch us courtside. Maybe next year. No, we'll be there on Saturday just to hang out with the fam. It is my birthday on Sunday. I don't want to
Mhm.
go off too crazy talking about myself, but it is my birthday. So we gotta have some fun with the fam. It's gonna be a good weekend. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too crazy expectations, but I mean, when you're with the fam, it's almost Jonathan's birthday, so I mean, it's recipes for success. I'll be the first to say it here. Happy birthday! We're recording this on
Appreciate
Friday.
that.
First time we've done a Friday night episode
A
in
minute.
fucking forever. This used to be the one. This used to be our slot time here. But so it's a little weird, but yeah, I mean, we're getting back into it. So you'll be hearing this on Monday. Make sure all you guys wish Jonathan a happy birthday on Sunday. We'll throw up a post or something. So go show the boy some love if you're hearing this on Monday and you haven't yet. So
Yeah, man. I will say though, you've been the one to tell me happy birthday first. You told me 6 months ago, and then you told me again 4 months ago on Facebook. So yeah, you're
yeah,
definitely my
if you
most
know, you know on
consistent
the
happy birthday wisher. If you know, you know on that. But let's just throw out a random prediction, man. All-Star weekend. Who's like the one celebrity you feel like is going to be there that we're going to run into? I feel like we have a pretty good track record. I feel like I do at least.
you know you
I
definitely do.
I see who I want to see, and I make it. They call you Mr. Make It Happen, but in this regard, I'm absolutely Mr. Make It Happen. I will find who I need to find. Unfortunately, my boy James Harden, top three favorite players of all time, not an All-Star this year, so I don't feel like he's the type to just pop out the All-Star weekend to support his teammates. Like he's probably
He's
doing his
in
own thing.
Cabo. Yeah,
Yeah. He's in Turks and Caicos. He's living. He's in the age. He's at Magic City. He's doing his thing, and he deserves. He's having a great season. So I thought he deserved to be an All-Star, but he deserved a little break. Who's the
no,
one celebrity or NBA player or legend or whatever? Who do you think we're gonna run into tomorrow?
we're shooting for the fucking stars here. The GOAT, LeBron James. I mean, anything. Yeah, we're just
Would be
shooting. We're
crazy.
going fucking just about as far as we can there. So, who's your prediction?
Man, I would love a Celtic. I'm gonna be wearing my Celtics jacket. I would love a J. Give me Jalen, give me Jason, either one. I'll take anybody though. If we run
Yeah,
into like Anthony Edwards, that'd be fire.
oh, and man, he's my fantasy basketball team name. So, I would love Anthony Edwards. That'd be fire.
I think we could just run into like a celebrity though, like a low-key celebrity that's
Oh,
like
it's
an
gonna be
actor or
something.
something.
Yeah, it's gonna be something just kind of weird. Obviously, meeting a celebrity is cool in itself. So we'll keep you updated. We'll have first thing next week. That's gonna be our very first part of the intro. So
Yeah, updates to follow. But yeah, let's get in the main topic of today's episode. We got the Spotify Classics draft. So if you have not seen it, Spotify dropped their list of 30 albums that are modern day streaming classics. They said streaming has transformed not only the way fans listen to music, but also the way artists release music to the world. And while music has become a more song-driven culture in recent years, that doesn't mean albums have lost their impact. And with the introduction of Spotify Classics, hip hop and R&B albums of the streaming era, we're celebrating classic albums that have stood the test of time no matter the era. So they've gone through 30 projects. Like they said, I feel like people talk about songs more than talk about albums these days.
yeah,
They're showing love to the albums. They got 30 really, really great albums here, and we're going to be drafting 5 albums a piece, snake draft, alternating, going back and forth. This reminds me a lot of a episode that you guys did not see. This is a little behind the scenes peek. We actually did the draft. They dropped the Hip Hop 50, I think it was called. It was the 50 most streamed rap songs on Spotify all time. And they're mostly newer songs and some just like, all time classic tracks. But we did a draft where we recorded us picking songs from that pool. And unfortunately, I deleted that. Well, before it came out. It wasn't edited. I just deleted the Zoom file from our recording, so that was tough. But we're gonna make it
maybe
up with a
yeah.
banger today.
We'll see how this goes. Maybe we go back to that re-record. I
Maybe.
slept since then. I don't even remember what I drafted at this
I
point.
don't
So,
either. I just know I
um,
won. I'm sure I won.
uh, I feel like I dominate these ones.
And we'll see.
You take the ox battles, I take like any other draft we do, and
Okay.
that's the
We'll
vibes I
see.
get. I don't know exact record, but I'm taking this one. And you know what? Just go ahead and give me the first pick. We're going
You
Astro
have it.
World by Travis Scott.
That's exactly what I knew was gonna happen.
Yeah,
And I was fine with it. Like,
yeah.
because
I mean,
there's a lot of good albums on this pool, but I will say I knew Astroworld was going to be your first pick, and it's a deserving pick. I mean, it's one of those last albums that really felt like an instant classic. You know what I mean? All the hype, the build up, the rollout, the music quality, classic. Great project. Can't be
my
mad at that.
yeah, my thought process there was if I give you first, you're gonna take Astro. You know where I'm going. So that was my thought process there. And it's definitely 100% a classic. I mean, just so much from the documentary leading up to it. Just so much has like happened off this album. We've talked about this album enough, so you just get into your picks.
Okay. With my first pick, I'm taking Blonde by Frank Ocean. Gotta have it. What a album. It is amazing. One of the best bodies of work. Like, yeah, you see what they were talking about with, songs stand out more than albums sometimes. This is an album. This
Yeah,
is a body of work. So much thought, so much detail. Every song is fantastic. It's great. It's like one of the best albums ever made, in my opinion, man. I love it so much. Had to be my first pick. But an album that's right there with it. I'm taking my wraparound pick here.
uh,
To Pimp a Butterfly. I got to go with Kendrick. To Pimp a Butterfly, a very elite album, arguably Kendrick's best. Good Kid, Mad City, not on this pool though, so I got to go with To Pimp a Butterfly, and I'm very happy with my start to this draft.
Yeah, we're gonna go. I mean, I knew go leading into this, seeing the albums on here, it's gonna be completely different directions. So
Yeah.
I'm not very worried about you picking mine. Other than Natural World, I think you would have just done that to spite me. So
I
uh
was debating it. It wouldn't be in like my top five, but I
mm,
would have taken it just because I knew you wanted it.
yeah, that's like I mean, it's just the correct fit for me. Let's get into a couple more of my picks here. Man, there's some great options. We're gonna go DS2 by Future.
That was on my
Man,
list.
this is one where just the track. I mean, less of a body of work here, but even still listening to all of it, it's a phenomenal project, of course. But I mean, just the carryover effect. Fuck up some commas was on here. Where you at? That's one that I've just been recently bumping. So good timing here. And man, I feel like this really kickstarted a lot in that trap scene here. I feel like a heavy influence, of course, and just I mean, last year even or a couple years ago when they're bringing up the covers, how it's like a stock image. It's so cool
Yeah.
about that. So that's my number two pick. Number three. I don't want to go. I don't want to go with this early. I'm gonna double up on the rap, double up on the trap scene. I mean, triple up. I guess I don't really consider Astroworld a trap album, but we're gonna go Culture by Migos. I'm just going what's near and dear to my heart. Three classics right off. But man, listening to this project, I think T-shirt came on shuffle the other day. So I mean, a lot of these obviously come up from here and there, and God, they did. So, I mean, they of course. Man, this is just such a fucking moment. What was it,
Oh yeah.
2017? So like sophomore year in high school. And this they really burst onto the scene there. They had great tracks beforehand, but this was it for Migos. I feel like their peak, or I'd say Culture 2 was probably their peak in terms of the public eye. But
Yeah.
man, I mean, can't emphasize enough. Migos went crazy on this. So.
Migos went crazy. They were running the game. This album was everywhere, man. So yeah, I was a freshman in college, so the summer between my freshman and sophomore years of college,
Yeah,
crazy. I mean, obviously you mentioned T-shirt, but also Slippery, Bad and Bougie, of course. Kelly Price. Yeah, this was one of those albums you could not go to like a party without hearing some of these tracks, and they were always the vibe. People were always going crazy for them. So, shout out to the Migos running the game.
crazy carryover effect from this. Just the careers they've built off that. So
Yeah, but yeah, we're really going two different directions here with our draft boards. You were going exactly how I expected, and I'm gonna get the
we got
team that I
Tyler pick
want
here.
here. Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
uh,
this is too mapped out. I knew which way
it,
we were gonna go.
it is. So we'll let the people decide who did better. But with my next pick here, I will go Igor by Tyler the Creator.
Okay.
Gotta have it. These are, I mean, three of the best albums ever made, in my opinion. I've got all three of them, and I could not be happier. I am really liking the direction here, Igor. I mean, to me, it's such a cohesive album, man. It is one of the most cohesive, in my opinion, I've ever heard. I think it does such a good job. It's only like 40 some minutes. It tells the story so well. You go from the start, Earthquake, and I think, and then Are We Still Friends? And Gone, Gone, Thank You. I mean, it's beautiful. It truly is. The music is great. I'm glad this isn't like a rap classics because then we get the argument, is a rap album, is it not? I don't really think it is. I think Tyler would say it's not as well. And, it has elements of rap, but it's not really a rap album. And I'm glad it made this list, no matter what the list is. Glad it's on the team as well.
Yeah, I was super interested. That was the one. I knew you were going with the Tyler album. I mean, obviously you heard me. I guess it beforehand. I was curious to see which one you went with. I was kind of leaning Igor. I mean, yeah, when you talk about this album, it's a serious business. So,
It is.
yeah, I mean, W pick there. It was calculated by me though. I knew it was coming. Something.
You did. And yeah, it was tough to decide which of the three I was going to go with. Tyler has three on this list of 30, which is crazy to think
Mhm.
about.
And I don't think either any of them deserve to be left off. I in fact,
No,
I agree with all three being on there. I mean, I'll never be a huge Tyler guy, or not yet at least. But yeah, I mean, I could definitely respect all three being on there.
it is crazy. And it was tough to decide. Flower Boy, I mean, that was like the start of like this mature Tyler that was getting a lot of critical respect. And I mean, without Flower Boy, I don't know if we're seeing him on this list as much. You know what I mean? Like that was what kind of solidified him as like, okay, he's putting out quality. Before that, we'd seen flashes, we've seen all this, but after Flower Boy, it was like, okay, Tyler is here, and then he just continued to level up and deliver every project. So it was definitely tough. But when I thought about which one I had to have, I listened to Igor 7 times a day it dropped. Like I
It
don't
was
know
one of the
another album where I
ones.
did
It's a
that, you know?
classic.
Yeah, it's a classic. We're gonna keep saying that, but it is like, and for my life, it got to be Igor. As much as I love the other two, I really debated going up with the double Tyler. I don't know if I'm gonna do it. We'll see in the fifth round, but I'm not gonna do it right now.
I'm grabbing them both up.
Do it with my fourth pick though. I'm going Die Lit by Playboi Carti.
Okay, yeah, that was one. It probably was going to sneak into my last pick there. So you did take something off my
Okay,
board, right where I was about to grab it, possibly. You went you said you don't really have a rap album. I like how they included R&B albums into my next pick. But you talk a little dilate here.
I love Die Lit. It's such a great produced album. Cardi's deliveries are great. All the features are great. It's such infectious energy. You see the cover, and it is one of the albums that the music matches the cover art so well. When you see Cardi doing the flip into the crowd of all these different looking people, and there's energy on all their faces, you just know what the music is going to deliver, and it does that so well. It is amazing. I love this project. Obviously, you got songs like RIP, you got Flatbed Freestyle, Fell in Love with Bryson Tiller, RIP Fredo. Oh, it's full of hits. And I mean, I go back to this one all the time. It's probably the album I go back to the most from Cardi. As much as I love tracks off of Self-Titled and off A Whole Lot of Red, Die Lit is probably the one I'm going back to the most. I feel like it's really even grown on me since it dropped. I liked it. I was cool with it. I like some songs, but over the years, I've really grown to love this project. So I'm very happy to have it on the team. And I really think it kind of diversifies what I have going on with my picks.
Yeah. So I mean, this is definitely one I need on the wall. Is if you're looking right above my shoulder here, you got Vince Staples. I don't know how contrast with that. Mostly gray album cover, but man, like you said, that cover is just so fire. I'm really
Mhm.
surprised Whole Lot of Red didn't make the list of albums here. We'll
Yeah.
drop the full 30 or post the full 30 on the Instagram story or something on Monday when this drops. But yeah, it's surprising. Obviously not the best reception initially, but they did get it correct by putting Dialed on here.
Yeah.
And moving on to my fourth and fifth pick here, you you've thrown little hints. You talk the inclusion of R&B albums, and you liked how they threw those on there, and then you just throw up the boy Bryson Tiller, throw up his name. Trap Soul's got to make my list. I
Okay.
think it feels a little early. That I mean, I guess I got DS2 from 2015. I guess that'll be the official starting year of the streaming era. But man, Trap Soul, whew, uh, I huge anniversary fan as well. Of course, you see that on the wall there. But Trap Soul, that was one of the ones. I mean, you got Don't, that major song there. Exchange is one of the ones. Fucking that first 10 seconds, it just sets the tone. Rambo, Right My Wrongs. Bryson Tiller really did his thing. And I feel like he really followed it up with Anniversary, a super underrated album. I mean, not to talk too much on it, brought it up twice. But Trap Soul, I feel like really set the tone for his career. And I mean, I feel like just off that alone, if you haven't listened to any of his other stuff, you have to respect him as one of the best R&B artists in the game. So shout out Bryson Tiller.
Yeah, I feel like he's almost at that Tyler the Creator status for me, in your opinion. You respect Tyler, but you don't really listen to him. That's how I feel about Bryson. I never really got into Bryson. At that time I was rocking with the Weekend heavy. I still am rocking with the
If
Weekend heavy, but it was to the point where I was like, I don't need Bryson Tiller. I got the Weekend. And I never really gave him that much of a chance. I listened to songs, but I could probably do a re-listen and see how I'm feeling. Maybe that'll be my new goal for the week, the upcoming week. I'll listen to Trap Soul and we'll see how we're feeling because it's been years. I couldn't tell
yeah,
last time I heard a song by Bryson Tiller.
Yeah, I mean Bryson's that guy. I love that comparison, and I mean just to close it out here, shout out the big bro, shout out Hayden. Me and him would talk about Bryson Tiller like a lot. He's a big Bryson Tiller guy, so you know we're both fucking with Trapsoul, of course. So my last pick here, and I love to see this one on here. I knew it was gonna fall to me here at 5. This probably would have been my pick over Dialect. We got Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial.
Okay.
Roddy Rich. Oh man, such a fucking moment in my life. Senior year, yeah, so it's 2019. You know, I follow this guy on TikTok. His name's Colin. He just posts like crazy funny videos. He's talking about the first time he heard the box. And man, the box is such a fucking mega class. Like it is a massive, massive song. And then you throw in songs. Start with me. What? Let me pull it up here because I'm blanking, of course. PETA with Meek Mill, Moonwalk and Lil Durk, High Fashion with Mustard. That was another huge song.
Yeah.
Like this is one. I mean, I know you're not vibing with Roddy Rich too much, but like this one did it for me. Like I've been obviously, you know, I feel like Roddy Rich's past couple albums haven't really met the expectations of this, but the bar is so fucking high.
Yeah.
Like Roddy Rich went from down below to an album like this. It was just such a crazy jump, and I mean very surprising, but definitely a classic in my eyes. Senior year. I mean this was the one senior year. Senior year of high school, I guess we'll throw in there. I remember me and Mauricio used to fucking just ride around banging Boom Boom Room. That's probably my favorite Roddy Rich track. And then you know you have the mega hits there. So shout out Roddy Rich.
Shout out to Roddy Ricch. Yeah, this is one I never really got too into. I saw Roddy at Lollapalooza. I just happened to like he was at the stage where Tyler was, so we're getting that connection again here. Tyler was there, and Roddy was right before him, and I saw somebody else. I saw Boy Pablo actually, and I was leaving that show, walking over to catch the very end of Roddy, and he played the box right after I got there. I was like, okay, that was all I need to see. That I saw everything I needed,
Yeah.
and it was cool. Yeah, respect for this project. I know a lot of people rock with this one, and this is definitely like the one that all Roddy fans go to. I will say it's really crazy though, this streaming status, the streaming era, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Uh, because you're talking about this is your senior year of high school, but
Uh-huh.
like my senior year of high school, like there's not really anything here from that. We got a couple, but
That's like
much more
back.
your generation here with uh this albums featured on this list.
Yeah, that's like back to 2015. 20, it doesn't really feel like it almost, but you know, I like that start there, but I don't at the same time. So but yeah, I feel like that was the not the peak of the streaming era, but like okay, yeah, we're this is the streaming era now. You really realize it then. So
Yeah, when did you become like a Apple Music, Spotify listener versus
oh.
paying for albums on iTunes or doing anything like
So
that?
yeah, I mean, I never paid for albums. Fuck.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, I had a few songs here and there, paid for a few albums. And then so that was what so to like sixth grade, and then I got a phone, and then I was downloading music here and there wherever I could on Musi or whatever the fuck, whatever was working at the time.
Yeah.
And then freshman year was Spotify, and then Spotify all the way to junior year, then Apple Music senior year. So this, like, please excuse me for being antisocial. I really associate with like my start to Apple Music. Yay is another one. Obviously, it was a little bit later, but I remember saving the whole album on there. And those are like the first two albums that, or if you go to your like songs, those are the
Yeah.
first two there. So, um,
Fire.
yeah, that's really what solidified the streaming era, I guess, for me, because I was a Spotify premium boy. They had the app on the Xbox, it was so fire, and
Yeah.
then yeah, I made the switch.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still rocking with Spotify, obviously. Still rocking with Xbox, so I got the Spotify app as well. But I guess it is different for me because I was here at the start of the streaming era. You know what I mean? I remember, I think the last album I bought on iTunes in full was Views by Drake. I think that was like April of 2016. And then I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, we got to get
Please.
Apple Music, please. Because Mr. I used to pass out music. I still pass out music. Chance the Rapper, he wasn't selling his music, but you had to have Apple Music to stream it. and I had to listen to Coloring Book. I needed that so bad the night it dropped. So I was like, Mom, we got to get Apple Music. So we got Apple Music, and that was May of 2016, the Friday before I graduated. And I was Apple Music for a couple years. And I switched to Spotify in 2018 because of the student Hulu deal. And here we are rocking with Spotify harder than ever. So yeah, this is a very interesting group of projects because this is our era. You know what I mean? We have been here for all these.
Yeah, it's great. Like so many, I mean, just talking about him, just like it brings back so many memories. So, I love this is just such fire concept. Let's get into your last pick before
All right.
we get all touchy feely.
Yeah, yeah. This is a tough pick. There's a lot of good projects left. They are classics for a reason. A lot of these I have connections to. I'm looking at Care for Me by Saba.
That was it was honorable mention to mine.
I'm
But
looking at Malibu by Anderson .Paak. I'm looking at Bandana by Freddie Gibbs and Badlib. But ultimately, I'm going with Control by SZA.
yeah, I wanted it to make my list so bad, it just didn't. Um, SZA, I mean, SZA just drops classics. SOS could have made
Only.
it on here as well. So I mean, get into it a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like if this album is updated in 3 years, SOS is going to be here. I'm sure there'll be a lot of projects from the past couple years that, get a little bump to that classic status. But Control, I feel like was the instant classic. People loved Control off the first couple listens. I mean, Love Galore, Supermodel, Garden, Prom. It's an amazing project. I remember just listening to this one crazy when it first dropped. I was walking to class every day and I was listening to a lot of different stuff, but I'll be listening to Control. SZA was crazy. I mean, I was listening to SZA even before this a little bit because uh she had a song with Chance called Child's Play on her album before this. So I was rocking with SZA, but Control was the one that really like solidified me as a SZA fan. Like I only knew like a couple songs before that, but this was like, wow, this is a crazy album. Not a super long album, a very concise album, but man, it's great. One of the best R&B albums of the decade for sure.
Yeah, that's another thing with the streaming. Like you can pinpoint exactly when you listen to a lot of these projects. Another underrated thing there you talked about, or the covers. Covers. I feel like for an album to be a classic, you have to picture the cover like right in your
You
head.
do.
Any of these, I got the direct picture. Some of them are right behind me, but still, I feel like there's a lot that goes into being a classic album. It's the fan perception, of course, the actual music, which I most important thing there, cover stuff like that. So I mean, and a lot of the times I feel like to really be considered classic, you got to have a hit blow up or that's why Saba making the list. I'm glad he got his flowers there. It was really dope seeing Care for Me on there. Obviously didn't make my list. Honorable mention, only honorable mention for me. I hate doing those, but
Yeah, I got my three. I got Saba, I got Freddie Gibbs, and I got Anderson .Paak as my honorable mentions. Shout out to Saba. The
yeah.
album cover thing, though, that's really interesting to me. Seeing the cover,
Mhm.
do you think that we're like valuing that more because we have so much access to it, just like seeing our phones? In the past, you would have the vinyl, you would, see it obviously, but when you're
But not.
actively listening to it, you're not seeing it. When you play a
Uh-huh.
CD, you're not actively listening to it. But when you're on your phone, you can actively see it. I feel like you have so much more access to the cover art. So I feel like, well, some people may say it's less important because, it's not, you're not buying the album at a store, so you're not picking it up and buying it. But I feel like you're seeing it so often, it has to be good.
Yeah, the cover's so it's really I don't know, it's like not important, but at the same time, man, like I feel like it really helps. I don't think it hurts too much. I mean, some in some cases, of course, but if it's at that point, I feel like the cover it really solidifies it. So
I agree. I think the cover art just makes it like
brings it
a
together.
moment. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? From seeing that cover art on your phone when you're streaming it to seeing it on Twitter to seeing it on merch, I think the cover art's got to be well done. And sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But for all these, for the most part, it absolutely is. That's one thing. Malibu Anderson .Paak, that's a 10 out of 10 cover right there. And I think without that cover art, I'm not giving it as much attention. Like initially, before I heard the music, I was like, I love this cover. I got to listen to this one. So Yeah, definitely got some love for cover art. It's been a long time since we talked about cover art for
Cover
an
art. That's what I
episode.
was gonna say.
Might have to come back.
Yeah, this is it's definitely gonna make a comeback after this. We need another draft. So that's in the playing cards for. I mean, not this next month. That's all brackets, of course, but
Yep.
it will be in the future. Possibly April release on the cover. Was it cover art 3?
Yeah, cover art 3, I believe. So
Okay, I mean third
a lot of
edition.
lot of projects we haven't talked about for that series, so we'll have to get into that. But yeah, love talking about these classics. They're all very, very influential to our lives, it feels like. So love giving them some attention. Um, but let's get into the news from this week. Got a pretty light week of news, but we'll talk a little about the releases, a couple other things, and then wrap it up, talk about next week's episode, and then some of the following weeks we got coming up. Let's kick it off here, talk about releases. This week we got projects from Yeat, Quadeca, the Bob Marley movie soundtrack, and then we got singles from Polo G, Lil Durk, Schoolboy Q, Bryson Tiller, Beyonce, Ariana Grande, Jordan Ward, Conway the Machine featuring Joey Badass, and Young Lean. Pretty good group of singles here. Haven't had a chance to listen to too much though, I'll be honest. It's Friday, like we
No,
said, it's an
yeah,
earlier
listening's
recording.
definitely a weekend thing. I'm doing a lot of driving, getting that in. So I've seen phenomenal things about Yeet. I've seen crazy things about the Yeet album. So
Okay.
I'm super excited to get into that one. I've seen. I'll give you my thoughts next week. I don't want to talk about what everybody else is talking about, but I have seen
Okay.
some insane Twitter shit on Yeet's album. So I'm super excited to give that a listen. And a Drake track's dropping tonight. So
I did see that. The one thing we didn't get though, we didn't get Childish Gambino. So that makes me think, is Yeet going to be on the Childish Gambino project we're going to get?
yeah,
Possibly. We'll
or
see.
it could come this weekend. I mean, it seems like
They're just
he's
dropping.
not finished. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
doing the deluxe this weekend, or I mean, starting to drop some more songs. So it's not out of playing cards.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Um, Beyond that, I like this Jordan Ward Spotify single we got. It's just a Bob Marley cover. He actually covered the same song that Daniel Caesar did. I haven't heard the Daniel Caesar version yet, so I gotta listen to that. But cool one out here, Jordan Ward. I gotta listen to Conway Machine and Joey Badass. I heard good things about this one, and with those two, I mean, the expectation is pretty high, and the quality that they're always putting out also very high. So don't think they can mess that one up. Let's talk about one project we got coming up. We got some news about this, a Lil Yachty and James Blake collab album. This is a very, very random pairing. I'm here for it though. I'm very
Yeah,
excited
I
for this one.
like it. I like it. I have pretty high expectations for it. I mean, just based off the two names, based off what Yachty's doing right now, I think it'll go together really well. So I mean, we'll keep you guys updated. We'll wait and see on that one. I feel like collab albums, I've lost a lot of hope in, just based off fuck. I mean, we were supposed to have a Clips album, Metro Boomin's got an album ready with everyone that we haven't gotten yet. So I really like hold my expectations on collab albums, but I do hope we get this one.
I do too. I think James Blake is a very, very unique artist. He's had his hands on a lot of great projects over the years, including some of his own. And Yachty is doing things as well as he's ever done them before in a lot of different areas, a lot of different styles. So I think this could be a very special project, and looking forward to getting a single and then a project here hopefully soon. So definitely excited for that one. And the last news this week, we got some news about vultures. Obviously, with the Kanye drop, there's going to be no shortage of controversy, no shortage of talking about it. And one thing with that is it was removed from Apple Music. There was some issues going on with the distributor used. Apparently, they had conversations about getting it uploaded. They said no, and then they just did it themselves through the platform. And now the distributor said no, we're pulling it. So still on Spotify, last I saw, but taken away Apple Music. So
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I was clowning you last week, but here we are. Obviously, yeah, like you said, no shortage of controversy. Hopefully, we get that one back.
Yeah, hopefully you get the one back before you get Vultures 2 or 3 or any of that. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens though.
not holding my breath.
Yeah, did you see Kanye drop $20 clothes? That's something that was
Yeah,
on
I
the
saw
news
that. The
here.
Super Bowl commercials killed it. It was Kanye. It's so Kanye. So
Very Kanye. Yeah. But that's going to do it for this week's episode. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with our album of the month, Dark Sky Paradise by Big Sean. Kind of talked a lot about some of these classics we have personal connections to
Yeah,
in the streaming era. There's a little bit before that, but
it's
at the very, very
2015. That's the
tail end
streaming
of
era.
that,
Yeah.
I guess so. So we'll be talking about that album next week, and then March. It's March Madness brackets all month. If you have any ideas for brackets, let us know. But we'll be back next Monday. Have a great week. Peace.